Okay, welcome to this part of the video series. In this part we are going to add a new category of test case to our test suite, and let's say those test cases that we are adding, they are related to testimonials. So let's validate testimonial tests. So what the goal of this class is, we want to count that on our website if we go to testimonials page, then the testimonials that we see over here, we have to validate that count of these testimonials is always greater than a certain amount, because typically we always know how many testimonials we are showing on this page. So let's assume the total count of testimonials, it's just a hypothetical number that I'm taking, that our testimonials that we are showing on our testimonials page is always greater than equal to 10, and that is what we have to validate. So this is our URL for this particular test. So let's copy this URL. Let's make our class as test fixture class. Control dot enter. Here we go and we say public void verify testimonials count. So that's what we say. And let's make this as a test, and as per our previous video, we'll always be inheriting from the test base class. So here the first step we are going to do is driver dot URL. This time for this test case our URL is this. The next step that we are going to do is we are going to locate the testimonials on the page. So let me right click here, inspect this testimonial in FirePath, and we can see the testimonials are under the testimonial item class. So what I will do is I will be locating all the testimonials, which is kind of div, and div will have a class equals to testimonial item. Let's hit enter, and we can see it. This is the best way. This is the XPath to locate all the testimonial items on our page. So I can copy this XPath. This is what we have constructed using Firefox, and we simply say driver dot find elements. This time we are locating multiple elements by XPath. So we'll say by, and let's fix this reference dot XPath, and we give the XPath for our testimonials. What this is going to return us will be a read-only collection of web elements. So we get testimonial collection. So just to be short, I write it T collection. So what we have to validate is this testimonial collection that we have got. Let's first print the count of that. Total testimonials found are, we can say plus, we can say T collection dot count. So this is the total count we have received. Let's put some logs here also, that opened testimonials page. Typically this logging is something that helps us in debugging the failures, because logging tells us how far we had reached in our test. Ideally we use some logger which can do a file based logging or database based logging or Excel based logging, so that later on we have something concrete. If we use console based logging, these logs stay only till the duration of execution of our program. Okay, so for now we will stick to console based logging. That's good enough for these demos. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to assert this value matches certain threshold that we set. So we said min testimonial count is 10. That is what we are validating, testimonial count. So this is our expected value, and let's validate that. So we'll say assert, and we'll use the advanced assert that the total count T collection dot count is greater than or equal to 10. So this is how we do assertion. So assert the result, because any test case that typically we write, it should have an assertion in the end which is comparing our actual result and expected result. Okay, rather than hard coding 10, we should have it from here. And this value going forward, we can read it from any Excel file, any configuration file, any resources file. In C#, we have a lot of options for using the files as our data source. So since we are not talking about data driven testing here, so I'll restrict it to hard coding, but assume later on this will be modified to, this will be read from a data source, which will be either a file or Excel or XML or database, and we can read from n different data sources. Okay, awesome. So we have automated one more test here. Now again, to follow our basic rule of making this series a hands-on, I'll leave one test case as an exercise for you to try, and let me figure out what test case we can add. So let's say we go to Java based thing here and we click an assignment. So the assignment that I'm leaving is, on this assignment page, the number of, okay, this is an assignment, let's go to quiz page, because there we have some quiz questions added. Right now we do not have quiz section added for C# because that is on our different site, but we are in the process of porting all the C# and Nunit related automation also to our own site. So going forward you will find another section added here, but for now you can do the exercise with Java based scenario. So here the goal is to go to this page. There are array related exercises. So what we have to do is we have to validate the count of questions that we are showing on this page, it meets certain value. So I'm not sure what is the count of tests that I added here of questions. Okay, it is 13, and awesome. So let's validate that array quiz on Java has 13 questions. So verify question count in array quiz of Java. So this I'm leaving as an exercise. So this is the URL for that, and it's a similar test case that we did on testimonials, but here the validation will differ, and the validation is we have to count the questions here. Okay, we started seeing some error. Let me see why that error is coming. Okay, something is wrong here. Let me build and figure out why we are seeing an error here. It expects one closing curly bracket. Where did I miss that? So let me close this, hide this. Okay, so we have this validation, this bracket is matching, this bracket is matching. Okay, we do not have a matching curly bracket for our namespace, so let's put that also back in, so that this last bracket that we have put, it matches the namespace. Well, so that would have got removed accidentally. Well, so this is again left as an exercise for you folks. So now looking at our solution, we can see we have 3 different categories of tests added. So overall it is showing 6 test cases, one that we ran and another which are there. So out of them there are few test cases that we have not automated, so they are shown up here as gray. Well, so next thing that we are going to do in next part is we will see how do we execute all these test cases in parallel, or to a certain degree of parallelism, so that we can achieve faster execution time of our test passes. So see you in the next part, where we will make these tests to run in parallel, as well as we will make these tests to run with different browsers in parallel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.